How complex is this whole mess of atmosphere and attitude of Nazism amongst the Ukrainians, their well known reputation for financial and political corruption, the unwillingness of the United States to account for where the dollars go?
Well, first of all, let's keep in mind that the corruption has its roots in the collapse of the Soviet state. That doesn't mean that the Soviet Union was devoid of corruption. Absolutely not. Corruption has always been a fact of life in the Soviet world, much as corruption is a fact of life in much of the Latin American world. But the degree of corruption now is beyond anything that existed previously. And that's because everything broke down in Ukraine. And Ukraine also possessed factories that produced everything from tanks to missiles and aircraft. There were things in Ukraine that the oligarchs wanted, the people that took advantage of the destruction of any kind of social or political order. Into this, we step with the goal of building a powerful force designed for one purpose, which is to attack Russia and harm it, if not dismantle it. Remember that the force, when Putin sent his interventionist forces in, and initially only used 80,000 men, he was facing a Ukrainian force of over 400,000 that had been heavily trained and equipped to attack and ultimately retake Crimea. So you combine the corruption with this development, and the corruption actually makes things worse. And we had this experience over many years in the United States where we will go in and we will create deformed economic conditions. In other words, we'll create new economies that never existed, are entirely dependent upon the largesse of American aid and assistance. That's happened in Afghanistan. We did that in Bosnia and in Kosovo. We did it in Vietnam. In other words, our very presence just breeds more corruption than would otherwise have been there.